You know, there's that guy that ran for Congress help me out, in Washington State that almost won, the Republican,
Joe Kent.
Joe Kent,
Yeah, Joe Kent.
his wife was killed in Syria after Trump ordered our guys out, and the military said no and just said, belay that order.
They said, you got it, Trump. Don't do it.
Yeah, the idea.
Well, and they made him back down actually on the order. Because this has happened 3 times, in 2017, 2018, and then in his lame duck session in December of 2020. He said, I want our guys out. And they essentially dragged their feet and then forced him to back down and change his mind. And look, this gets to the very bottom line, right? Who listening to this show right now wants Iraq War 4, right? After George W. Bush put Iran's best friends in power in Baghdad. Who wants to go back to Iraq? Who wants to do another war in Syria? Supporting Israel is not in the interests of the United States of America. It's not. And General James Mattis and General David Petraeus, both in candid moments, admitted. They said something very close to, our men pay a price in terms of their security in the Middle East every day because of Israel and what they do in Palestine. And you talk about Fallujah, here's a great example of that. In March of 2004, Sheikh Yassin, who was the founder of Hamas, who Israel had financed and helped for years to grow Hamas, he started moderating his position and trying to get along. So they assassinated him because they don't want a partner for peace. We're going to talk more about that. They murdered him because he was mellowing out. And that was in March of 2004. Was just like a week later was the giant riot in Fallujah. Maybe it was 2 weeks later was the giant riot in Fallujah where the Blackwater guards were lynched and their bodies burned and hung from hung on the bridge. And one of the corpses was dragged through this street with another guy tied to the hood of a car with a big picture of Sheikh Yassin in the window. And it was the Israeli assassination of the founder of Hamas that had helped to touch off that riot that killed those Blackwater guards, that then led to Bush, and maybe this is what Mattis was referring to. This led to Bush ordering James Mattis to go in there and clean them out. And what they did was like a free fire zone. If you're a civilian, leave the city. If you don't leave the city, your life is forfeit, right? Like Vietnam. And they didn't do that in the other battles in Iraq War II, but they did that in Fallujah. And the first big battle of Fallujah in March of 2004 is what really kicked off the Sunni-based insurgency that killed 4,000 of our guys in Iraq War II. And it was because Israel assassinated their own former sock puppet when he was becoming a public relations liability for them.
I wanted to point out when it came to Biden and the leaked photo, Telegraph reports that it was a hostage rescue unit in Israel.
Yeah, that's what I had thought. Is that
I don't. You guys heard something different, or?
I think it was a security detail. If it's Delta, they don't like to talk about what they're actually doing.
Well, that was the scandal. The scandal was they leaked the information on accident.
Yeah,
they weren't supposed to post
on their
the photo.
Instagram. Yeah,
and that's why they deleted it.
Delta is top tier special operations forces. When they get killed, they don't report their casualties, right? These guys are clandestine forces, top tier guys, right? Above the special forces.
Yeah,
and so, but if they're there in Israel. That I think
I don't know if they're gonna put him into Israel, and this is only like hearsay stuff that I've got, but it's my understanding that they're probably going to be going into the bases because there's a base in the desert in Iraq that they forward operate from so they can get into Syria and stuff. So if I understand correctly, they're going to be in that area. I don't know that they won't put them in support roles for the IDF. I think that more than likely, if there's a support force, it'd be the 2 Marine Expeditionary units that are in the area that are on carriers. Delta doesn't have enough guys where they'd be a big support role. They're usually because there's only a few hundred of them. There's maybe like 500 Delta.
Well, the Post said that they have generals embedded with the Israeli military helping advise.
That could be.
So I'm not sure which service.
Advising is sure. Like we can have an argument. Like why are we involved? But actual warriors, actual fighters down there, that's disconcerting. And I would also be very concerned about the kind of person that gleefully smiles with excitement at meeting Joe Biden.